I keep going back and forth on whether to post this. Part of me thinks writing it out will help me process it, and part of me thinks I sound like a lunatic, but whatever. Here goes. I do cleanouts for a living. Foreclosures, mostly. Some abandoned rentals, couple of hoarder situations a year. Basically, once a bank or a landlord takes a property back and they call guys like me to go in and we just get everything out so they could sell it or they could rent it again. It's not glamorous work. I mean, most days it's just garbage bags and trying not to gag. See a lot of sad stuff, family photos, people left behind, kid toys. One time a dog crate with the door still zipped shut. I don't want to talk about that one. Point is, I've been in a lot of empty houses. Now, I've never had anything happen that I couldn't explain. That is, until 3 weeks ago. This place was a foreclosure. Been empty at least a year, probably more. Had that wet wood smell that houses get when nobody runs the heat for a while. There's no power. Windows were grimy. Barely see through them. It's standard stuff, honestly. I've seen way worse. I was working the upstairs bedrooms. Tiny closet in the back bedroom, barely big enough for a rod and some hangers. There were a few coats still hanging, and behind them on the floor, there was this metal lockbox. Like the kind you keep documents in. The fireproof ones. The ones from Walmart, whatever. This is the part where I have to be honest about something, because people keep asking me, well, why didn't you just leave? Answer is because at this point, nothing weird happened yet. It was a box in a closet. I open boxes, containers in these houses literally every day because sometimes there's stuff worth salvaging. And sometimes there's stuff the bank needs to know about. Well, the box wasn't locked. It wasn't even latched all the way. Inside one of those old clunky Polaroid cameras. Pack of film. Stack of photos face down. They look blank on the back, just white. Picked them up, flipped through them. One slid off the stack and landed on my forearm, and my sleeve was pushed up past my glove. Except it didn't land, it stuck, flat against my skin, stuck like a sticker or like wet paper, except it wasn't wet. And immediately cold, not cool, cold, like I'd pressed an ice cube onto my arm. I pulled it off quick. It made that sound, when you peel tape off skin, that ripping, tacky sound. And it took a second to come free. There was this white rectangle on my arm where it had been. I don't mean it was pale. I mean, it was white, like the color had been sucked out of my skin. Like if you took a photo and erased one square of it down to nothing. I was still looking at that, trying to figure out what the hell, when I noticed the photo in my other hand, it was changing. It was developing. Whatever the word is, when a Polaroid goes from blank to showing an image, except what it was showing was skin. It was showing my skin. I could see the freckle that I have near my elbow. It was my arm. And right in the middle of the image was this dark square shape. I looked at my arm. I looked at the photo. It was the same spot. Then my arm started hurting. Not like a cut or a sting, more like, okay, when you press your thumb really hard into a muscle and you hold it, that ache, but in a spot where there was no reason for it to hurt. The white rectangle on my skin started going purple while I watched, not spreading out like a bruise normally does. It's like filling in. The color was filling in from the edges towards the center, staying perfectly inside the rectangle shape, like something was coloring it in from underneath. I put the photo down on the floor and pain didn't stop. The photo finished developing and it showed my arm with the bruise. The same shape, same size, same location, like it had taken a picture of something that hadn't happened yet, and then it made it happen. I left. Okay, I want to say that I was calm about it, but honestly, I walked out fast. Didn't run, but I definitely wasn't casual about it. So the next morning, the bruise looks like it's been there for days, right? Dark in the middle, tender when I pressed on it. Perfectly rectangular, which I shouldn't have to tell you is not how bruises work. In the center of it, still lighter than the rest, almost pale. Also, and this is going to sound weird, but I swear, my hair stopped growing inside that rectangle, like that patch of skin, like it wasn't mine anymore. Like it had been replaced with something that looked like skin, but wasn't exactly. I should have left it alone. I know that. You know that. Everyone reading this knows that. But I went back to the house, told myself I needed to finish the job because I do. They don't pay me if I don't finish, and I'm not about to lose a contract because I got freaked out by a piece of film. The box is still there. Everything was where I left it, except the top photo on the stack wasn't blank anymore. It developed on its own overnight, sitting in a dark closet in an empty house with nobody there. The image was the closet floor, the box, and a hand reaching for it. My hand, from earlier. But the angle was wrong. It was taken from inside the closet, from up high, like from the shelf above the rod, looking down at me opening the box. Nothing was on that shelf. I checked when I first found the box. There was nothing up there. I picked the photo up. I had my work gloves on this time because I'm dumb, but I'm not that dumb. And it twitched. I need you to understand what I mean. I don't mean that it moved because my hand was shaking. I mean the photo itself spasmed like a muscle, like something alive. One quick twitch, and then still again. The image started getting darker while I held it. The shadows in the closet in the picture were getting deeper. The inside of the box going black, way blacker than it should have been. And then something leaned forward out of that darkness in the photo. It was not a face. That's what everyone asks me. Was it a face? No, it was more like a face-shaped dark spot, like if darkness had layers and something pushed through from behind. My bruise lit up, felt like someone put a cigarette out on my arm. I dropped the photo, I yanked my glove off because my palm was burning now too. Red rectangle in the center of my palm, same size as the photo edge, right where my fingers gripped it through the glove. So obviously, I took the whole box home. Yeah, I know. I don't have a good explanation for why I did that, except that I think I was already past the point of making smart decisions. I think when something impossible happens to you, your brain just kind of, it stops running the, is this a good idea program? It starts running the, I need to understand this program, and you do stupid things. Kitchen table, I dump everything out. Camera, film, stack of photos. I'm just sitting there staring at it like it's going to explain itself. The camera clicks. My hands were on my lap. I wasn't touching it. It clicked by itself. The mechanical sound of a Polaroid taking a picture, and then the motor noise, then a photo slid out of the front. Slid across the table, stopped right in front of me. I don't mean it traveled because the table was tilted. My table isn't tilted. It slid across a flat surface, and it stopped in front of me like someone pushed it. I didn't pick it up. I just sat there and I watched it develop. It was me, sitting at my kitchen table from across the room, like from the doorway to the living room. In the picture, my left hand was up. There was a black square on my palm. Not the red mark that was actually there. It was black like a hole. My real hand started burning deep, not surface level, like the pain was coming from inside my hand, from the bones or the tendons or whatever is in there. I ran to the sink, I held it under the cold water. It didn't help at all. I watched the skin on my palm go white, and then red, and then this dark, angry color, perfect square edges like it was printed on me. The camera was pointed at me from the table, the lens was facing me. I had dumped it out randomly, and somehow it landed pointed right at my chair, or it moved. I don't know. I grabbed oven mitts, shoved the camera in a metal trash can, and dumped all the film and photos in after it. And I put the lid on top, and I wrapped the whole thing in packing tape, took it to the garage. Felt like I was disposing of a body or something. Went to urgent care for my hand. The nurses wrapped it up, asked what I touched. I said I touched an old camera. She gave me this look like she wanted to ask for more, but didn't. They gave me burn cream and they sent me home. And that night I woke up because I heard it. That sound the Polaroid makes. The click. And then the whirring right next to my head. Camera was on my nightstand. A fresh photo sitting right next to it. I left it in the garage. I taped the lid. I know I did. The next photo showed my hand. Bandaged up, except in the photo the bandages were soaked through. They were dark, saturated. My actual hand started itching under the bandage, then stinging, then this pulling feeling like something under my skin was being tugged sideways. I ripped the bandage off and the burn had changed. The skin inside the rectangle was smooth, not scarred smooth, but like new. Shiny, like a different type of skin had been installed there. And in the dead center was a gray mark. It looked like a doorway, a tiny rectangular doorway shape in the middle of my palm. Camera clicked again. Another photo came out, then another one, then another one. I didn't think. I grabbed it with the kitchen tongs, ran to the bathroom, threw it in the tub, dumped bleach, tile cleaner, drain opener, everything under the sink on top of it. Didn't even think about the fumes. I mean, I probably should have. The camera sank to the bottom of the tub. It sank wrong. It sank too fast, way too heavy for what it was. Then it started whirring loud. Not the normal sound it makes, angrier, faster, like it was trying to take photos rapid fire from underwater. My palm felt like something was pushing out from inside, pushing against my skin from underneath, trying to get through. I yelled. I'll admit that. I'm not going to pretend I was tough about it. I yelled. I almost passed out. I had to sit down on the bathroom floor. The skin inside the square in my palm cracked along the edges, clean, straight cracks, and underneath the cracked skin was raw, pink new skin, like something had been pressing into it from the inside, molding it. Then the camera stopped. Everything stopped. The whirring, the pressure in my hand, all of it. Just done. I left everything in the tub for 3 days. I didn't go near the bathroom. I used the kitchen sink to brush my teeth. I don't care if that's gross. And when I finally went in there and fished stuff out, the photos were ruined. They were warped, swollen, fused together. The camera looked partially melted, plastic all warped, discolored. And I thought, okay, it's over. Whatever that was, it's done. And I picked it up. Top photo from the stack. And on the back of it, pressed into the surface like someone wrote it with a fingernail with the words, "Keep still while it develops." That night, my phone wouldn't unlock. Face ID wouldn't work. I tried the passcode, tried fingerprint. I looked at my fingers. The ridges were gone. My fingerprints, they were smooth. Both hands, all 10 fingers. Smooth like paper, like photo paper. It's been a few weeks now. Nothing else has happened. The rectangle scar on my palm is still there. Skin inside still feels different, tighter, thinner. Gets cold sometimes randomly, like really cold. Same cold I felt in that first photo stuck to my arm. My fingerprints still haven't come back. I had to set up a new passcode for everything. Couldn't even log into my banking app for 3 days. Try explaining to your bank that you need a password reset because a haunted camera stole your fingerprints. You can't. You just say you forgot it. I don't know what was in that camera. I don't know what it was trying to do to me. I don't know if that gray doorway shape on my palm is what I think it is. But sometimes at night my hand gets cold in that spot. It feels like something on the other side's pressing back. Waiting for another picture. So yeah, don't touch old Polaroids you find in an empty house, because whatever's on the other side of that film doesn't just take pictures, it takes prints. Hey there kids, it's me, MrCreepyPasta, and before we say goodnight, I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching tonight's video, or for listening to tonight's episode of the podcast. I also want to say if you guys like the stories you're hearing now, please check out the Creepypasta Collection Volume 1 and Volume 2. They're available now on Amazon, they're available at Barnes & Noble, they're available wherever you like to get books. They're some of the best authors I've worked with over the years, some of my absolute favorite authors, and some of my friends. So I'd appreciate it if you guys check those things out. There's also an audiobook that I wasn't involved with. I don't know why Simon & Schuster did that, but they did. So you can check that out too, if you'd like listening to books, but you just don't want to hear me. As always, I want to give a very big thank you to everybody who supports me on Patreon, patreon.com/MrCreepyPasta. People such as Diana Kraus, AcidSystem, Benjamin 2003, Blake Rattler, Bottle Coolant, Brandon Mendoza, Caltuna, CoryxKenshin, Dakota Best, Daniel Poulsen, Dante Kinkade, Enchanted Buns, Eric Anthony Caruso, Estebean, 15 Squirrels in a Trench Coat, Galaxy Gremlin, Hayes Nephew, Himbo Jerry, Our Minute Second Time, Jay Kearns, Jettis Pet, Lou Cipher, Nick MC, Plant Piss, Red Shadowcat, Remember the Sun, Salty Surprise, Samara Lynn, Scary Stories Fuel Me 32, Seclude, Simba's Bloody Mojo, Sky Harbor, Smiley the Psychotic, Sully Man, Polly Sue, Team Leo 76, The Chavez Brothers, The Ginger Bros, Tommy Walters, Viceroy Scorn, William Wellington, X Reaper 69, XX Lucky Cat XX, Zibulb, Shadow Gardens, and Peaceful Buddha. Thank you all so much for being here. And as always, sweet dreams.